Say something for the podcast. Tell the people what you feel. Fuck the podcast. Fuck people.
You are listening to The Objective Jerk, where objectiveness is the objective, and I am said jerk.
How you doing? Yes, this is The Objective Jerk, and I am said jerk. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's well. It is 2023. It's kind of crazy to think about. I've been watching, I don't know why, but the documentary on Netflix with Michael Jordan, The Last Dance. I watched it when it first came out, I don't know, a couple years ago. When did it come out? 2020? 3 years ago now, I guess? I don't know. Anyway, and so I watched it again, but I've watched it like 3 more times. I kind of just have it on in the background sort of sometimes, and then I'll kind of watch it, but it's a really good fucking documentary. If you haven't seen it. Even if you don't like basketball, it's interesting. Which I'm not like a huge, well, let's be honest, I'm not a basketball fan. I sucked at basketball. I never was into it, but I've been to a few games, pro games, and they're a lot of fun. So I'm kind of like getting into it because that's the big sport here in the Philippines. So, but I've just been kind of having that on and watching it, and that's kind of all I've been watching. Like, I've been depressed, because I have depression, for one, and two is, my mother-in-law. So when I'm in my depressed states, like, just nothing sounds good. Like I want to chill and watch something, but nothing sounds good. Like, I just don't know what to watch. So I've been just playing that documentary, over and over again. So I've just been kind of watching that. And it's a great documentary, though. If you haven't seen it, I would suggest watch it. If you like documentaries, it's a good show. But it makes you feel old, especially if you were around then, because it kind of jumps back and forth between certain times, and it goes back to certain years, and you kind of look at the way people are dressed, and I'm like thinking, God, that's the year I graduated high school, and that's what we looked like, And I don't know. It's just kind of funny how you don't, in the moment, you don't really kind of realize fads and everything, And then when you see something like that, then you're like, geez, that was what everybody was wearing, or that's kind of what, you know what I mean? And you just kind of think back, like, what was I doing then? And man, I'm getting old. Shit like that. There's another weird, I think it's called Weird History. It's a YouTube channel. And they do cool, little, interesting, like 10-minute kind of videos on various things. If you like history, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. But they also have a timeline. So they go through different decades. Like, they've done the 70s, which they just got done doing. I don't know why they didn't do it in order. I started watching the 90s. That's when I started kind of watching. But they have the 90s, they got 2000s, and they got 80s, and then the 70s. They got 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. But they didn't release them in order. But anyway, so it's like, that's pretty cool, and it goes through just certain, mainly pop culture shit and news, that going on, and you just kind of watch it, and it's like, that's the year I whatever, moved out, was living in my apartment or whatever, my first job or my second, whatever. I don't know. You look back and you think about like kind of what you were doing in your life, and then you're looking at kind of the shit that's going on. And it's just kind of weird how, when you're in the moment, it doesn't feel like it. You know what I mean? When you're watching it on the screen, you're just like, I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know if that's just the old man in me talking or what, but so first of all, let's see, my lovely mother-in-law was laid to rest actually about a week ago now. I just haven't been doing much for podcasting. As I said, my depression was hit me, and I'm still in it, I think. I don't know. I never know when I'm out or when I don't know. It's hard to explain. I mean, for those that have it, you understand, but it's just one day, like, I think, oh, okay, I think I'm getting better. Like, I feel, and then nothing. Next day, it's like shit. So it's like, I don't know. Like, I woke up, I went to bed, I got some good sleep. I woke up way early. So I'm thinking I'm out of it, I think. We'll see. But so that's why I haven't been doing much podcasting, just not into it. I really, I mean, I would have if I didn't have some pre-recorded podcasts, but I'm glad I did. So I uploaded those 9/11 conspiracy ones. So if you haven't listened to those, check the catalog and listen to them. They're great. I made them myself. They're great. That was my Trump impersonation, but it probably didn't sound like it. And speaking of podcasts, no, I'm gonna wait. I've been fucking with that shit too for all weekend. And that's like a whole nother episode. So let me stick to the program. So my mother-in-law was laid to rest 2 weeks ago. So there was for my poor wife. My wife, man, she's been just for a month, she's been fucking shit, dealing with shit, and I don't know how she did it. I supported as much as I could, I don't know, but the Filipinos, man, they all come together and everything. But yeah, so she's been for the past month, because she was 2 weeks in the hospital and then 2 weeks for the wake, which the wake was a little longer than normal. I think I said it before, it's like, maybe it's 7 days, but I want to say it's 9 days that they have a wake and they have people come in and say a prayer. Yeah, I think it's 9, but, sometimes the wakes will be longer, because of, maybe having family members come into town. They can't get there right away. So they get a chance to come in and grieve with everyone else. And then, or for like us, it was, they wanted to wait till after her birthday, because her birthday was on the 8th. So, they wanted to kind of celebrate it, which was kind of strange, because it's like, yay, happy birthday, but, you passed away. I don't know, it's kind of weird. It was kind of, it's like they're trying to just really not celebrate the fact that she died, but celebrate her life and the fact that she lived and you got to be there for her and stuff. So, Oh, my last episode though before that's right, talking about this was the poem. So I read the poem. So I did read the poem, but not at the actual service. I read it the night of her birthday. We had the PowerPoint slide, and that's when I read it. And holy crap, dude, I could not get through it. I was like, I can do this. I got this. And I start reading it, and then I'm just like, I can't hold it together. And I was like starting to break down and like cry and have a hard time crying in front of people. I don't like to like try and keep myself from crying. Every once in a while, I'll have like a breakdown of something. I think I have some tears built up, and I need to let it out. I really do. Like for a while there, or fuck, maybe even now. I don't know. I haven't watched it, but when American Sniper came out, I watched that movie. I think I bought the Blu-ray, and then me and my wife started watching it, but we didn't finish it or something. I can't remember. So then it was like a Sunday night, and I stayed up, or no, because then I would have watched it. Maybe I don't know, but I just remember, like I was on shift work, so I was on swings or mids or something. I can't remember which one it was, but everybody was gone. It was daytime. I was home alone, and I was watching American Sniper, and there's parts of that movie, especially like the end, where it's like I just fucking start crying like uncontrollably. I'm just like, what the fuck? I can't stop crying. Why am I crying? That's scary, you know. And so I haven't watched that in a while though. I wonder if it's still, but um, but yeah. So I'm not like, I don't know. I mean, like once I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing. It's like like I don't think there's anything wrong with crying, but it's like for some reason like it feels like that it's like a personal moment. So it's like I don't want. But then like I said, when I was by myself, I didn't want to cry. So what the fuck? I don't know. Anyway, um, my mother-in-law was talking. Oh, okay, so the wake. So like I said, they have the wake maybe longer for various reasons. For us, it was for her birthday. They wanted to celebrate her birthday. So the following day, you know, everybody gets up early, everybody's getting ready, everybody's getting dressed, and the funeral company service, they kind of do like everything, and they arranged the coffin. Everybody got to say their goodbyes. See, every time that people come in and like say their goodbyes, you think it's the last time, but then it keeps going. So, you know, you got, let's say, okay, let's take, for example, my nephew. He flies in, you know, from the States, and he comes and he sees his grandmother, his Lola, who basically raised him, so it's like his mother, you know, and he, you know, breaks down and cries and I love you and you know whatever people do when they grieve, and then they, you know, I love you, goodbye. They say their goodbyes kind of, you know, but then they're kind of there, you know, every morning you wake up, there's a casket, you can see her, you can talk to her, whatever, and this and that. And then, let's see, so then the morning of, you know, everybody's kind of getting pictures together, which seems kind of weird too at the same time. You know, and I kept telling my kids, don't smile, because it's the natural habit, you know, to smile when someone's taking your picture, but it's like, you know, we're not smiling for this today, you know, and So then people would kind of, you'd hear people grieving again, saying their goodbyes, this and that, you know. So they close the casket, they move the, you know, they transport the casket out front and they put it on a carriage. It's a horse-drawn carriage, which was pretty cool. It's a nice, fancy carriage, you know. It's you know, pretty cool. I think it's kind of classy. And then they have like a marching band in front that are there just to kind of keep time. I don't know if you've ever seen Tombstone. If you haven't, you're a fucking idiot and you need to go see it. But great fucking movie. But anyway, there's a scene that after the OK Corral where the cowboys, the quote unquote cowboys that were killed, they're being, you know, they're going showing through town in the procession, and it's on a horse-drawn buggy. People are walking behind it, and you can hear somebody like hitting a drum, kind of keeping the pace of the marching pace. Basically, they do the same thing here, but there's like a little bit more to the band. It's not like a full-on marching band, but it's, you know, there's some drums and trumpets and shit. But I think it's mainly to kind of everybody hears, you know, the procession, and so everybody comes to their doors and, you know, maybe gives, you know, says something, pays their respects to them, either they didn't know, or it's like if you live in the neighborhood, that's when you would join in the procession. You know, when it comes by, then you walk and join in and walk with the procession to the church, and then they move the casket into the church, and, you know, set up the picture. And then there's the funeral service, you know. And then at the end, they were like, okay, you know, we're gonna have. So I told myself, I was like, if they ask for anybody from the family to say anything, that I would say something, you know, because, you know, my wife and, you know, her brother and sister and stuff like that, you know, it's not. I know when my stepmom died, I didn't want to get up and say anything. It just, I don't know, it just wasn't. It wasn't. I don't know. I just, not that I didn't want to say how much that she meant to me or nothing like that, but it just, I don't know. So my cousin January did, which was nice. But anyway, so that's what I was like, okay, if they ask or they say something, I'm going to get up there and say something. And that's kind of what I was planning. I did kind of have a thing planned, and then I was thinking about doing that poem, but I did all that the night before for her birthday, so I didn't want to do the same thing. So, you know, the service gets over, and then they start again. People go up, and, well, actually, no, we went up there. The family went up there first. We gave offerings and everything, and then again, everybody's like breaking down and crying and stuff, and then like everybody in the church comes by and, you know, gives a flower and says their condolences and stuff like that. So that's all going on, you know, and everybody's crying, and I was kind of starting to cry, and I was like, so this is the second time in the day, just in that day, for people to kind of like, you know, grieve and cry and why, you know, the whole thing. And then, so they're taking pictures again, and they're asking for somebody to say something. So I'm like, okay, I'll go up there. And so I get up, you know, and I'm pretty good about talking in front of people. I mean, I'm not good. I mean, because that's, you know, but I'm okay with it. I was just trying to tell myself to talk slowly because, you know, English is not the primary language. And so I start talking, but it's like, man, I'm having a hard time fucking getting it out again. I'm like almost, you know, voice cracking, and I got to hold it for a second. So it took a little while to get it out. And basically just, said thank you and all that kind of stuff. And then I gave like an analogy of moving on from this life to the afterlife kind of thing, which I heard once before and I thought was pretty good. So I did that. And so then everybody takes pictures, the siblings, the dragons, the family, whatever. And then they close the casket. We wheel it back outside and we put it back on the horse-drawn carriage. And then it goes back into the neighborhood, basically where we came out of, but it's where the cemetery is at. And so we walk behind it just like before, and then we go up to where her plot is, which is, it's they're nice. Some of the plots are really nice, and like the one they had built it's got a roof on it, a rain gutter, and it's got a little bench to sit there. And it's basically just a casket on top of the ground, but it's encased in, concrete and tiles. So the tiles look real nice, and they still got to do a little bit more work on it. But so we get to that point, they take her out and they open the casket. And then for the third time, everybody's like breaks down, crying and screaming and upset and this and that, And then, so finally everybody says their goodbyes, pretty much. That's the last time. And then they close it, and then they put her casket in there and they seal it up. And we sat there and watched, and that was it. And it kind of was like almost like a relief in a way, because it's like the grieving is done, but now it's time to mourn, which there's a difference, but so that's basically it, man. That was kind of the end of that. That was, it was interesting it was bittersweet, I guess, because, it was my mother-in-law. Very, very integral part of life for the family here, and was kind of but it was sudden, you know what I mean? And unexpected. So it was just kind of, a little bit of shock in there involved too. But then at the same time, it was just kind of an interesting experience for me to kind of see it all and learn everything. And I think I said it before, but it's kind of, like I said, just in that day, the day of the service, it was like they had 3 times to really kind of break down and cry, and they fucking, they don't hold back. Oh, that's my alarm. I was like, what is that? They don't hold back, man. They grieve, you know what I mean? And I think it's healthy, it's healthy to really fucking cry and let snot come out of your nose and yell and scream at God and why and this and that, and they do it multiple times. So by the time they, put the loved one to rest, and it's my son in the background blowing his nose. That's great. Yeah, but anyway, they've done all their grieving and they're done. It's like it's on to the next chapter. So and in the States, it's like, you would grieve the day of, and then you'd have the funeral, and people are crying a little bit, and then they kind of, like just whimpering kind of thing, and then they lower the casket, and I don't know, like it's just different in the States. It's just, you don't get as much time to kind of grieve. It's like your grieving is done, days, throughout whatever, in the closet or in the bathroom, you're hiding and crying or something. I don't know. But so it's, the death here is very much like old school. you know, traditions, like in the States, the way it used to be. Like I said, the movie Tombstone and stuff like that, you know. So, but yeah, so that's what was going on with me. If I hope you enjoyed the little dive into the Filipino culture of grief and mourning and all that kind of stuff. If you have any questions, feel free, and I'll do my best to answer them. But that's it for me. Thank you for listening. This has been the Objective Jerk, and I will see you next time. Yay, yay!